Hey everybody, Duck B in the house. You know what's up, man? Glad to see you here this morning. This morning I'm going to talk about Florida man. We're on the year 2013, so I'm going to read you the top Florida man headlines from 2013 today. Crab man, what's up? There he is. Crab man, glad to see you here, man. Uh, the first one I have here, Florida man from 2013. Florida man calls 911 to request pizza delivery and gets arrested repeatedly. He kept calling him. Tank Ferret, what's up, dude? So, so this dude's calling 911 trying to order a pizza, and he does it enough that he gets arrested for it. They must have been telling him to stop. The 911 operator must have been telling him to stop. Quit calling us for pizza and shit. User V Intuitive, what's up, V? Glad to see you here. Connecting the rabbit holes. Keith Peterson, what's up? Good morning, Gen Xers. What's up, y'all? Glad to see you here. I'm reading about Florida man. That's always enjoyable, listening to what stupid shit Florida man has come up with or did come up with back in 2013. And then we can talk about whatever y'all want to. But yeah, this dipshit kept calling 911 trying to order a pizza, and they must have been telling him to stop, until they finally sent some cops out there and arrested his ass. The second one's funny. It has to do with 911 too. Dude pocket dialed 911 during a drug deal. They just came and picked his ass up. So the 911 operators, listening to them do a drug deal at his house or whatever. And so they sent the cops out there, and of course they had drugs. That shit cracks me up. That's sort of accidental though, but still, it's pretty damn stupid. You should turn your phone off during drug deals. so so yeah, yeah. Florida man shoots that girlfriend, mistaking her for a wild hog. Yeah, I bet she was pissed for two reasons after that. One that she got shot at, and two that she got mistaken for a wild hog. That's not a compliment by any stretch of the imagination. And the average woman would probably take that as an insult. You know what I'm saying? I thought you was a hog, baby. I thought, I thought you was a wild hog. I was fitting to skin you and put you on the grill. So yeah, he probably got a beat down and some jail time for that one. Yeah. Yeah. This number four is pretty classic. Dude woke up and his car was missing, so he reported it stolen, and it ended up that it was at the bar that he was at the night before. He had just he had left his car at the bar and forgot, and they reported his shit stolen when he woke up the next day. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one there. Florida man charged with impersonating law enforcement to get free donuts. That's a cheap son of a bitch there, dude. I mean, come on. Back in 2000, now, donuts are like, $25 each or whatever. Unless you get the sprinkles, then you're talking about big money. But back then in 2013, donuts were still $1 each or whatever. So yeah, that's just cheap. If you don't want to give somebody $1 for a donut, yeah, that's an addiction there too. Yeah, a guy got arrested for harassing manatees. It's illegal down here in Florida to to come in contact with the manatees. You're not allowed to mess with them and stuff. So this guy, not only this guy messed with the manatees, but he took pictures, took selfies and shit while he was molesting the manatees, harassing them and shit. And yeah, got his ass arrested for it. Oh, okay. Only buck and a quarter for a donut. V. All right. Okay. Let's see. Florida man bakes cookies to steal from neighbors. Invited his neighbors over to eat some cookies, and then slipped out his back door and went over there and robbed them. Holy shit! Yeah. Tripwire, what's up? Dog Karma, what's up? Good morning. Oh yeah, Florida man tries to escape arrest by climbing a tree. Like he's running from a bear or something, right? I mean, that's how they treat him like a coon. The cops treat his ass like a coon. Climb a tree like they don't have flashlights and shit. Hey dude, come down from there. People are stupid. Yeah. But that's all I got for Florida man today. No alligators, surprisingly enough. No alligators. Yeah, I guess nobody threw an alligator through a window in 2013. But yeah, Florida man, that shit cracks me up. The dumb shit people do, and and that's all over the place. People do dumb shit. I don't know why Florida man caught on, but there was an ex, or back then it was Twitter account that was doing Florida man. That's what actually got famous. Uh, but a lot of there, all of every state in the United States has their dumb shit. Just that Florida got famous for it. Duncan, what's up, Duncan? Glad to see you here. Been visited by Disney characters? No, not lately, Duncan. No, thank God. Yeah, thank God. Uh, Now, on a more serious note, I was reading an article about Gen Z and how they're now using all the therapy shit, right? Uh, to just basically be selfish, okay? Because therapy is telling everybody now, to protect your own peace and and you see all that young kids now they ostracize their parents and they're isolated and online and all this stuff. And everybody's toxic, right? And all this therapy speak and shit. Oh, all right, Laic, just another guy in the woods. Glad you tuned in and dropped us a line, buddy. Thank you. Funny booze, Keith. Yeah. No, I haven't seen any. Oh, Disney characters. V, are you talking about the blue elf I saw when I was a kid? Is that what you're talking about? Be intuitive, or who said that? No, that was Duncan. Duncan said that. Is that what you're talking about, Duncan? No, Tripwire. No, they kicked all the Americans out of New York, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And that's the thing. I mean, um, honestly and truly, if when they went down there and Trump went down there and did that shit in Venezuela, arrested that guy and stuff. If they were really looking out for America and Western civilization, they would have done that in New York. They would have went in there and just arrested him and, uh, drug him out of there, thrown him in jail. Um, Crab man, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's lefties. Yeah, it's lunatics over there, but it's mostly foreigners. Look at the demographics of New York City now. The large percentage is they weren't born in the United States, and it's not about color or anything else. It's about citizenship, uh, and those are the ones voting. They're letting them vote. Why that goes on in any country? I personally should not be able to go over to Australia and change their elections, right? We shouldn't, 10 million Americans shouldn't be able to just swim over to Australia and vote in their elections. It's ridiculous. The thought is ridiculous when you put it in any other context. But when it's America and it's communists coming over here and infiltrating and taking over our country, oh, yeah, you're a bigot if you say it's wrong. You're a bigot if you just question it. Ask if it's wrong. Yeah, that kind of shit. 63, what's up, 63? Fortunate son. Yeah. Guess which boomer's a Nam draft dodger? Yeah. I don't know. Which one are you referring to? See, 63 does it right. Just all caps. That's the way to do it. Hell yeah. Hit that caps lock. I love that shit. Before filters placement? Yeah, Duncan. Yeah, you're right. A meddler in the ways of other nations. Yep. Yeah, Escape from New York was prophetic. Yeah, Tripwire. Yeah. Looks like it, dude. We're just going to have to put a big fence around that son of a bitch. Yeah. Snake Plissken. Yeah, crab man. Yeah. If it was a warning of things to come, and it doesn't surprise me. I think that more of those movies were. You know what I mean? Imagine it wouldn't surprise me if we see some kind of Escape from New York and Idiocracy at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but with all this shit, uh, the the mentality of people nowadays is really insane. I mean, it's just crazy the way people are thinking and what they're doing and the shit they're doing. And they're harming themselves with this shit. And then they're too stupid to realize it. But they're educated, so um, they're just, but they're not educated in the ways of thinking and processing information and sorting out ideas and filtering through ideas and stuff. They're educated in a way of memorizing just random shit and being able to regurgitate it onto a piece of paper or whatever, or onto a computer. They don't take paper. You can tell I'm old school if you take a test on a piece of paper. You might have trust issues. Who's the draft dodger? Hell, there's so many draft dodgers. Ali was a draft dodger. Had a bunch of draft dodgers. 63. Which one are you referring to? No, I don't support any draft dodger. But in my opinion, everyone should have dodged the draft. They all should have stood up together and said, no, we're not going to fight your foreign war. They never should have had the war in the first place. We can go down that road, but yeah, no. J Dog, what's up? Good morning, J Dog. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, me too. Yeah, smart traps. Yeah, 63. You're right. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. What do they call them? 5-minute cities or whatever they're trying to create. Brondo. It has electrolytes. Crap, man. Yeah. Put that shit on the crops. Yeah. Connecting the rabbit holes. Yeah. Yeah. Young men don't want to fight in Ukraine. Yeah. I mean, um, that patriotism and all that stuff is that's a quagmire of thought, and we really have to think about that stuff and decide, because when your country is sending you off to fight in these foreign wars that have nothing to do with you, uh, and actually the war actually hurts your country situation there, whether it's morally right to refuse to go fight. Okay. Yeah, I'm a patriot. Should draft dodgers are um I don't know, I don't want to say they're bad people or whatever, but we came up through World War II, right? With the patriotism and everything, but our government has slid down into such corruption and bullshit that it's hard to support them anymore in any way. And I would say, especially to go die for them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough one. That really is. And at the same time, I don't support draft dodgers, Vietnam draft dodgers. I'm not saying I support them, but I can't support this government and what they're doing. I cannot support foreign wars anymore. The wars of the past are the past. From now on forward, yeah, I do not support any foreign war, any conflict on foreign soil. It has nothing to do with us. If there's a conflict on American soil, hell yeah, and they draft people. Then a draft dodger would be heinous. Yes, a coward. But to go fight over there in Iraq for some, in the name of democracy, uh, I don't see why anyone would have to go do that. Why anyone should be forced to go do that. I just don't. I don't see it. 15-minute cities, crab man. Yeah, you're right. 15-minute cities. Joe P, what's up, Joe P? Glad to see you here, man. But so so with the whole draft and all that shit and war and serving our country and patriotism, uh, just like everything else, these things have evolved. Okay. The idea of patriotism now, the idea of supporting our government, patriotism now should be, in my opinion, supporting our people, supporting our country, not our government. Our government has gone off the rails and doesn't support the people anymore. Um, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit when you have the largest city in America overrun with illegal immigrants and all this shit, and they vote in a communist for mayor, and we can say, oh, that's in New York, let them do that. Well, that shit's going to spread. And it's just basic facts. It's just basic facts. Those people come from those countries where they shit out 10 kids, and they're bringing more over. So you know what, it's not going to end there. That's the beginning. This New York being overrun with these communist foreigners is just the beginning. That's a symptom. You know what I mean? One of the early symptoms. It's like detecting cancer, right? You catch it early. Well, this is one of the symptoms, and we're going to ignore the cancer, or we're going to fix it. We're going to cure it. And hopefully Trump does something. Hopefully they do long-term immigration policies, not just deport a bunch of people who are going to come back as soon as he's done with this term. That's not what I want to see. I want to see massive deportations and long-term immigration restructuring. I've said it before. I think they should just shut it all down, end immigration for a year, 18 months or whatever, until and then put Congress and the Senate and all those, put them in their voting house there, whatever, the Senate, put them on the floor and put armed guards around them, and they don't get to leave until they've fixed the shit. But they can have Uber Eats bring them some food. They can shit on the floor, whatever, until it's fixed. And you can say that with any policies, any structural deficiencies in our country. Healthcare, immigration, all of them. Fix the shit. It's your job. It's literally your job. But they just won't. They just refuse to. You're telling me they can't, right? We can do all this shit. We can fly to the moon. We can look at atoms and shit, and we can look out into the deepest depths of space and do all this shit. But we can't make some good reforms on immigration. We can't make some good reforms on healthcare. We can't make our elections free and fair and accountable. We can't fix any of these kind of issues, but we can do all this other shit. It's just smoke and mirrors. It's dog shit. They're crooked. In Dearborn, Michigan, Keith, yeah, yeah, I believe it. Minneapolis was a close second. Wayne Beatty, what's up, Wayne? Glad to see you here. Yeah, and it's spreading. So it's obvious. So it started in Dearborn, then Minneapolis. Now we're at New York, and it's spreading. I don't know how many of y'all have seen this video, but there's a guy, city councilman or whatever, the mayor, and he's a Somali or whatever, some foreigner, and this guy is American, standing up there, and he's saying, we don't want this prayer, this Allah prayer, blasted through the speakers at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's that's not how we do things around here. People are sleeping. We need to pass some kind of regulation against that. And the mayor told him that he was not welcome there in that city and he needed to leave. Straight up told an American citizen that he was not welcome there anymore and he needed to go. But, there are going to be small pockets of Americans around here eventually. In 20 years, there'll just be small pockets of Americans in rural America, and the cities would just be, communist foreigners. That's the way it's going to be. Yeah, humanity has always been crocked. Yeah. Yeah, Duncan, and that's been evident since the Roman era, right? We've got a lot of writings and stuff from the Roman era, and it was screwed back then. They were corrupt and disgusting back then, the Romans. But yeah, birdshot does, Keith. You're right about that. But when you see this stuff happening to your country, it's hard to swallow. Especially then you add that. Okay, our country is obviously, I mean, obviously and plainly out in plain sight being taken over by foreign communists, one city at a time. Dearborn, Minnesota, New York. It's happening. All right. And then they want us to go fight in a foreign war. So they're spreading communism at home, but they want us to spread democracy abroad. And make that make sense. How is that how is that how does that make sense to anyone? Any thinking human being on this planet? Sounds to me like we need to spread some democracy in the United States and get our shit together before we go spreading democracy abroad. What we're really spreading abroad is cash, currency, money. That's what we're spreading abroad. And every time we spread money abroad, these politicians skim a little off the top, right? And put it in the stock market. Yeah, city states connecting the rabbit holes. Yeah, exactly. Brad Davis, what's up, Brad? How's it going, man? And but all this stuff, it really gets under my skin listening to all this shit. When the problems are at home, okay? The problems are at home. And when you look at it through a different lens, you know, if Keith's house is on fire and his neighbor down the block, their house is on fire too, is Keith gonna grab his water hose, run to Home Depot, buy, 500 feet of water hose and extend his water hose down to his neighbor's house and spray water on his neighbor's house? Or is Keith going to put his own fire out? When you put it like that, it just sounds stupid. Well, of course, Keith is going to put his own fire out and then go help his neighbor. That's just what thinking creatures do. You know what I mean? You don't let your own shit burn to the ground while you're running to Home Depot and doing all this shit, wasting all this money and screwing around with the neighbor. Yeah, the neighbor's in trouble, but you're in trouble too. You got to take care of your own first. You must, by necessity. And then you are more able to help your neighbors. If you put some fire extinguishers in your house and take care of your shit, now your fire won't be so bad. You put it out when it's a spark, and then you go down and you help your neighbor and put his shit out when it's a spark. You know what I mean? Buy your neighbor a couple fire extinguishers, but your shit's got to be okay first. And that's the opposite. We see American government buying a water hose and stretching it to the neighbor's house while their own shit burns to the ground. Why is that? Why are they doing that? Why are they watching our country be destroyed and then telling us that they're helping other countries? Now, they're helping other countries. I don't believe that for a second. I believe that, that they're enriching other foreign dignitaries and shit, foreign dictators and prime ministers. They're all just enriching each other. It's just a big money laundering scheme, a global enrichment scheme for the powerful. I don't believe they're actually helping anybody. Every time we meddle in somebody's affairs, their people suffer. Their dictator gets rich, but their people suffer. Go check on the people of Iraq right now. Go check on the people of Afghanistan. See how well they're doing. Are they prospering? Do they have the latest iPhone 17? We spent 20 years over there kicking in doors and doing all kinds of shit. How well are those people doing? How are they loving their democracy that we gave them? Yeah, too many forget the oaths they took, foreign and domestic. Yeah, Keith, exactly, dude. And too many just, even if they don't, their oath was dog shit anyway. They didn't mean it. They have no honor. Their oath was meaningless. Period. They said the words. Words are wind. Words are just, you know, sound waves to them. That meant absolutely nothing to them when they said the words. It's not that they've forgotten them, they never meant them. JPC, what's up, JPC? Glad to see you here. Yeah, somebody will be offended by the fire truck. Yeah, yeah, the fire truck will offend somebody, Trip. Yeah, because it's not rainbow colored, it's just one solid color. Yep. I'm New World Order, Brad. California. Yeah, yeah, dump fresh water into the ocean. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that place. Yeah, California, at least on the west, the entire west coast of the United States, they're just lunatics. Yeah, corp, corporatocracy, world, and votards. Yeah, voter tards. Yeah, Brad. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Keith. Understandable, dude. But, and basically, if you get down to the brass tacks, you know what I'm saying? That's the bare bones of it. We're supposed to be taking care of our own first and then reaching out the helping hand to anyone in need, not just, you know, sending buckets of money, boats full of money overseas to. And the disgusting part is these boatloads of money aren't helping other people, not common people. These common people are still under dictators' thumbs. They're still, you know, hungry as hell. They're still got to walk 5 miles for to get fresh water. All this shit. They're not helping anybody. You know what I mean? Uh, there's no huge uprising of the standard of living. No huge swell in the standard of living anywhere. You know, no, we're not doing any good for common people. All we're doing is hurting ourselves and enriching the already rich. Uh, so it's really disgusting. It really is. I mean, disgusting when you think about it. Was California like that? It was headed that way. Yes, it was. It's been a transformation. You know what I mean over the years. But yes, yeah, it was just not so extreme. Um, but yeah, Arnie's got some leftist or progressive ideas, but he's more of middle left than not, no, just whack job far left like they have now. But yeah, he was part of the progress, part of the progression, but he wasn't like this son of a bitch they have in there now, Gavin Newsom, the governor they have now. Yeah, he wasn't a complete lunatic like this, but yeah, he was part of the slide. Yeah, corporate run Earth, Brad. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going down. That's where, that's the target. That's the end game. Yeah, it was more tolerable when Arnie was in Crabman, but that's like saying, stage one cancer was more tolerable than stage three. You know what I'm saying? It was a progression, and he was part of that progression, but um, yeah, he wasn't nearly as bad as it is now. Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely Newsom. Yeah, that dude is a scumbag, straight up scumbag. Tripwire. There, he's doing shit over there that's abominable. Yeah, abominable. They recently raised their minimum wage to $20 an hour. What happened? The um the businesses can't afford to pay that much, so they just fired a bunch of people and closed down a bunch of businesses in California. Now they're empty because they can't afford. So I don't know, 20,000 Californians lost their jobs because Gavin Newsom raised the minimum wage, but he only raised it for certain people because his buddy that was contributing to his campaign fund and stuff, that guy's exempt. So that guy can still pay a lower minimum wage, but the rest of the companies, the small businesses and shit, they have to pay $20 an hour, and they just can't afford to. So they fire a bunch of people, and the big businesses, they can they can just replace the people with robots and AI and shit. The smaller businesses just have to go away, and that's the name of the game, right? And that's just one thing that this scumbag has done to California. One thing to Californians. Uh, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Mangrove. What's up, Mangrove? Yeah, we are so divided: politics, race, religion, gender. We can't unite under anything. Yep, you're exactly right. Yep. Um, we can't unite under common sense, under right and wrong. It's just right. Human beings have an innate sense of right, and we can't even agree on that. We can't even get together under anything because people are so extreme. They either want everything for free. Healthcare is a human right; it's for free. Well, you can't really say that because you're not entitled as a human right to someone else's time, and their time is their life. You're not entitled to someone else's life, not 1 second of it. So no, if it is if it is produced or comes about through another person's efforts, you're not entitled to it. Period. And that's just common damn sense. If it falls out of the sky for free, yeah, you're entitled to it. You're entitled to air. If God can give it to you, yeah, you're entitled to it. Freedom, yeah, you're entitled to it. It doesn't require anyone else's effort for me to be free. All they have to do is pretend I don't exist, or just leave me alone. They can pretend I don't exist, or they can talk to me, whatever. It's their decision. But they don't have to get up and go to work to provide my freedom. You know what I mean? I can just be free if everybody leaves me the hell alone. But healthcare is different. It depends on someone else's effort. You know what I mean? And so all these kind of stupid ass beliefs, healthcare is supposed to be free, and you're on that line, and that's it. Now, should we have some provisions for healthcare? Should we pull back all of that foreign aid and all of the corruption and disgusting government waste and devote a small portion of that to healthcare? which would be, what, $1 trillion to healthcare and just fix healthcare. So, so all taxpayers put into it and everybody benefits from it. Yeah, sure. Why not? That's better than just, making these foreign dignitaries richer and giving them more power over their people. Bearded Care, what's up, cuz? Glad to see you here, man. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, dude. And that's part of the reason we're here together. So we know we're not crazy. We're not shouting out into the void. We're not insane for thinking, common sense thoughts, for agreeing with common sense ideas. We're not insane, you know? Yeah, you will own nothing and be happy. And we see that happening now, Brad. Yeah, now. 19,000 people lost their jobs. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Tripwire. Yep. Yeah, Gavin Newsom put 19,000 people out of work, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, it's just out of work. They're jobless now. So now they're all going to get on unemployment and the taxpayers are going to have to support them. Yeah. Yeah, there is no middle class anymore connecting. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't exist. Trained to compete against fellow humans. Yep. Yeah. Pull stores, businesses out. Yeah, Keith. And the thing is, all this shit is happening. They're doing all this shit. Our country's being taken over by communists, but they want us to worry about climate change. That is the number one, climate change and racism. The two most devastating, dangerous things to humanity are climate change and racism. That's what they want us to worry about. While communists are taking over our country, while Western civilization is being destroyed, we're supposed to be focused on climate change and racism. Oh yeah, healthcare is yeah. I don't I don't trust those some bitches. Most of them anyway. As far as I trust politicians, well, not necessarily doctors, but pharmaceuticals. Yeah, I I don't want to take that shit. Yeah, all sports train you that fellow humans are on opposing teams. Yep. Yeah, entitlement. Bearded, yeah. Entitlement has to stop. I think I'm entitled to Bearded Care's labors. I'm entitled to it because I was born. He Bearded should go out there, work his ass off, and give me his money. Why? Why? Somebody have to convince me of as to why. Why am I so much more important and so much just better of a unique person that I should be able to lay back on my couch where while Bearded goes out there and sweats in the sun to support me? Yeah, yeah, Keith. Yeah, it's all about division. Because if me and you are arguing about whether healthcare is should be a free or not, while we're arguing about whether climate change is real or not, whether we're arguing about the earth being round or flat or whatever, you know what I mean? they're they're shipping in communist voters by the millions. Yeah, fake money going to actual value of zero. Yeah, that's where it has to go. There's no Yeah, Brad. Yeah, there's no other scenario. Nothing else can happen. It has to go to zero because it is zero. That is the nature of it, because it's not real. It does not exist. You know what I'm saying? There is no real value in it. It's just in our minds. So yeah, no, I agree 100%, Brad. Roz, what's up, Roz? Oh, you got a decent night's sleep. All right, feeling way better. Yeah, man, I'm glad to hear it, Roz. Sincerely, dude, I'm glad to hear it. Glad you're here with us, dude. We're bitching about communists taking over our country. No, Mangrove, it doesn't sound bad. It sounds true. That's the truth, what Mangrove just said. Having different religions and races trying to live together in peace has never worked out in all of history. It's just true. One will subjugate the other every single time. Every time. It's human nature. And for us to pretend that there is no human nature, for us to pretend that all this other shit doesn't exist is bullshit. We're lying to ourselves, we're lying to each other. That religion that's taking over, which YouTube does not like me to talk about, so I rarely talk about it, but y'all should be able to figure out which one I'm talking about. Um, that religion that's taking over is incompatible with Western civilization and Western ideals. We don't molest children. We think it's bad. They don't. They think it's okay. It's normal. That's not, it's incompatible. Just that right there should should raise everyone to an awareness that it's bad. That there are certain religions that are bad. They're just bad at a moral human level. They're bad. You don't do that to kids, right? But we're supposed to, along with this religion being injected into our country, we have this idea of maps. They're minor attracted people, and it's just that's a persuasion, right? There's nothing wrong with it. That's just, I mean, that's like being attracted to blondes, or tall, dark, and handsome guys, or whatever. It's just a preference. It's not a brain problem. There's nothing wrong there. It's just a preference. It should be normalized. So why are these two things coinciding at the same time? Why are we they're trying to normalize this whole idea that minor attracted persons are okay, and at the same time we're being flooded with a group of people who are into that shit, right? Is that just coincidence, or is that by design? Yeah, truth always sounds bad. Yeah, Trip. But it is. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. No matter when, you spread into another culture, and one of them will be wiped out. Period. It's happened time and time and time again. It happened in England by the Romans. The Romans came over and wiped out their culture. It happened across Europe by the Romans. It's happened every single time, every time. So to think that, oh, this time's going to be different, back to the definition of insanity. You do the same thing over and over and over again, and you expect a different result each time. No, it's just not true. Where our culture is being wiped out, our culture, and we're just seeing the beginnings of it. Yeah, yeah, bearded. Yeah, they've been working on it a long time. They have since after World War II, for a certainty. Yeah, Khaki and blue, yeah, Keith. Separate rule and adrenochrome herds, yeah, Brad. Yeah, other than that, we had to work together. And that is, see, that's a thing that people want to kind of inject that idea into it, that it's racist. They want to make it about race. It's not about race at all. It's about culture. Okay. Um, I don't care. I don't care if they're white people coming over here, brown people, red people. I don't care what color their skin is. It's about culture. It's about the idea that, people are free and children should be protected. Those two basic ideas. And I don't care how white you are. You could be pristine, glistening, ivory white. And if you believe that shit, you're the enemy. I don't want some communist child molesting bullshit in my community, in my hometown, in my home country. I don't care what color the people are. I will stand up beside uh, a a black man of the same ideals, and I have when I was in the army. We were of the same culture, but we were different colors, but we were standing for the same principles against a common enemy. So race has nothing to do with it, absolutely nothing, but they want to inject race into it to make it, so you're the bad guy if you want to protect and conserve your culture and your children, even if you want to protect and conserve the culture of your neighbor's children who happens to be black. If you want to protect them too, you're still a racist, right? Because they want to say that, just because they say it, and not because of reality and what's really going on, and what's actually happening. No, they don't. That has nothing to do with it. It's 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 propaganda, it's brainwashing, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, Roz. Yeah, healthcare is a weird one on a grand scale. They're awful, but in some cases, they're miracle workers. Yes. Yes, Raziel. Yep. Number one, the only thing with like surgeons and stuff, and regular doctors, that shit's just too expensive. But that's because of insurance. That's not because of the doctors. That's because of insurance the the corruption there. You know what I mean? Our pharmaceuticals are too expensive, 10 times more expensive than in Europe. The exact same pill, and that's because of insurance and all that shit. Insurance has destroyed the medical system, right? Uh, and the pharmaceutical on one side, and then the pharmaceutical industry, they're just scumbags, and they are giving the medical industry a bad name. Them and the insurance, they're destroying the medical, and the doctors are getting a bad rap for it. The doctors are trying to help people, but they're ignorant about a lot of stuff because they came up through the system, right? They weren't taught about proper diet and nutrition and exercise and all this stuff. They're just taught to cut the shit out or to medicate it, and that and again with the education thing, they're highly educated, but they're ignorant to a lot of stuff. Is it their fault, really? So a lot of doctors are trying to help, and they want to be good people, but they're bound by the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance industry. They're hampered. They're handcuffed, literally, almost. Yeah. Yeah, Keith. Gen X has a lot we agree on, even though comes from a different perspective. We just know how to talk to each other. Later generations don't know how to talk with us. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Connecting. Yep. Yeah. One third of Gen Z hasn't even what didn't even get born. And that's true of Gen X too. Yeah. Well, our generation would be a third again as large if uh, if the boomers hadn't done the whole abortion thing. At least 19, huh, Ross? At least you have standards, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Trip. Yeah, that blows my mind. We've got people who aren't sovereign citizens who have been in our country for less than 10 years and they're voted into positions of power. That's that is treason. That's a crime against the population. A crime. Yeah. People should be punished for allowing that. Yep. People should be punished. And I'm not talking about a slap on the wrist, a fine. I'm talking about severe, public, swift justice to make sure the kind of justice that makes sure that no one ever wants to try that shit again, ever. The kind of justice that is, that makes folk tales and shit 500 years from now, they're still talking about it. That kind of justice. Yeah. Yeah. Tank. Yeah. Grow their own business for pennies on the dollar. Yep. Fence hoppers and scammers need to go. Yeah. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, Tank. I don't agree that foreigners should be coming here and subsidized before American citizens are. I don't. That sits wrong with me. Allow there should be a certain amount of immigration. Granted, it should be a quick process, and they should be checked on down the road. Every so many years. Make sure they're assimilating correctly. If they are not, they go home. They should have the same opportunities as Americans, not more. Not government subsidies to start businesses, unless Americans are having government subsidies to start businesses at the same rate. If 1% of Americans get subsidies to start businesses, then 1% of immigrants should get subsidies to start businesses. 1% of immigrants, not 1 million Americans get subsidies to start businesses, so 1 million immigrants get no, the same percentage, but it's not. That's not what we see. 0.001% of Americans get subsidized, business subsidies, and 30% of foreigners get business subsidies or higher. It's ridiculous. So no, it needs to be fair for American citizens, and and I would argue that if it's not fair, it needs to lean in the favor of American citizens, not the other way. And illegal immigration should just be shut the hell down all the way. They should shut down immigration for a year to 18 months, completely 100% shut it down until it's fixed. We should shut immigration completely 100% down right now today, haul the Senate and the congressmen into their voting, whatever, Congress, the House, whatever, and make them fix it. And they don't get to come out of there until it's fixed. Period. They call it free. Yeah. Yeah, like that's they love to give us free shit, and then it's not really free, is it? It ends up being more expensive in most cases. Yeah, yeah. Schools financed by pharma. Exactly, Raziel. That's a great point. Now these schools, these medical schools, are funded by these trillion-dollar pharmaceutical industry. So, what are the medical schools going to teach? Bucky, what's up? Yeah, mass common sense needs to make an appearance. Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's damned elusive, Crab Man. Yeah, make the gallows great again, Crab Man. Excuse me. Yeah, they're not as highly mistrained. A lot of times, nurses, yeah, I've heard that before, Raziel, and deal with patients 90% of the time, the real effects of what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, a true American will fight for their country. Will these immigrants fight if we go to war? Will these immigrants, these Somali immigrants, are they going to fight for this country? Are they going to fight for their fellow Americans? Or would they run to Canada? If America was invaded tomorrow, what would happen? What would they do? They would probably take the side of the invaders, is what would happen. I almost guarantee you. They'd fight us. They'd turn on us from within and fight us. Yeah. No, all right. You need sandpaper? All right, dude. Waiting for Home Depot to open? Yeah. Yeah, it should be illegal. Yeah, Trip. All of the laws and regulations we have against American citizens and Australian citizens, and no laws, no regulations protecting us from the foreign invaders. It's bizarro world, dude. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Bearded. Yep. That's a. They were subsidized. The government paid them to to take over Buck and Doe's because the American family that was there, they couldn't afford to. They asked for help. They couldn't get it. They asked the government for help to keep their place open. They couldn't get it. It's a little store here in nearby. And there was an American family that owned it. The father died. The the children wanted to keep it open for the community. They asked the government for help. The government denied them. So now foreigners came in and the government subsidized them to open the store back up. So now it's run by foreigners who you can't understand speaking. And these foreigners are doing well with their store and their government subsidies, but the American family lost it, lost everything. A generational business. It was disgusting to watch it happen. But that's going on across the United States, across Western civilization every day. Hardwire, what's up, early bird? What are you doing, buddy? Glad to see you here, man. Congress, yeah, Felix. What's up, Felix? Glad to see you here. Every generation since has gone to war, yeah. Yep. And that's true American. Now when the Irish and the Scottish and the Germans and all these others were immigrating over here in the late 19th and the early 20th century, they came over here and they assimilated and they created a culture and a environment. They created a country. They created an infrastructure. They did not come over here and inject communism and try to live off the government tit and rob. They came over here and they worked hard and hacked a life out of the wilderness and created something. The people coming here today are coming here to destroy, not create, to destroy the infrastructure, to destroy the culture, to destroy the economy. There's a fundamental difference between immigrants of the past and immigrants today. Back in the past, number one, we needed immigration as much as we could get because we had a huge country that was barren and we needed infrastructure. We needed to build railroads to get back and forth across this large country. We needed a lot of people to come over here, and everyone was welcome. Chinese, Vietnamese, Norwegian, Danish, all of them. Everyone was welcome at that time. Nowadays, it's different. We have an infrastructure. We don't need a bunch of brute force labor. We don't need that anymore. So not only do we not need these people, but they're coming over here and they're destroying. They are destructive. It's a completely different situation. What's up, Jeff Seven? Glad to see you here, man. Oh, all right, Roz. Yeah, my family was in. My grandpa was in World War II. My uncle and father served during Korea. Um, my other uncle was in Vietnam. I served during. I didn't go to war, but I served during Desert Storm and Desert Shield. I wasn't in during after 9/11, Afghanistan and all that. Yeah, we should not shop at those stores. We should not support those people. End of story, Mangrove. Yes, I 100% agree. Yeah, yeah. Con means con, Brad. You're absolutely right. Con, Congress. They're a con job. It's a con job. No, all right, all right, Ross. No, no. Our founding fathers, I think, they did the best they could at the time. The only real mistake I've seen is that they allowed lobbying. And at the time, you didn't have trillion-dollar corporations to basically buy politicians and stuff. Lobbying was about you know uh, special interest groups being able to get time in front of and talk to their politicians. That's what it was about back then. Uh, Now it's something different. It's just about big money, big corporations, and they couldn't foresee that. But still, it was a mistake, a bad one. Yeah, but yeah, they did. The Constitution is pretty damn good. But eventually, you give somebody enough time. You put somebody in a steel vault and you give them enough time, eventually they'll pick their way out. They'll find a way. It might take a million years, but they find a way out, and they have found ways around the Constitution. It wasn't ironclad. Our Constitution was written in a way that the American people were supposed to make sure that it was followed, and we did not. And it started generations ago. I say we, but I'm talking about, generations that are long dead as far as we and the ones alive today. But now we're here and it's a lot more difficult. Back when it was clean and new, you know, it's like mowing your lawn. When your lawn's, a quarter inch high and you go out and mow it, it's easy to do. You just push the mower around, you know. But if you back off, if you go in your house and play video games for 3 months and you go out there now, it's this damn tall and it's a pain in the ass. You might not be able to get it done in a day. It's going to be costly. That's what's happened with our government and our constitution. The ones when the grass was this high and they should have mown it, they didn't. Now we're born into a world where the grass is this damn high. The grass is so tall now, it's hard to see through it to even find your lawnmower. That's the point we're at now. And we were born into this shit. So when I say we, I don't blame as much. We have blame, we have responsibility. Don't get me wrong. I don't play that blame game. Oh, it's the boomers' fault. It's the greatest generation fault, all that shit. No, we have blame. Now, percentages of blame can be shifted around, and the generation that was alive and running shit when they instituted that bank, when Woodrow Wilson instituted that bank, they should have stood up and said, no, no, no way. But they didn't. And here we are. We would have just stolen the opium poppies anyhow. Yeah. Yeah, Mangrove. It's sophisticated now, Mangrove. You don't have to be at war to be invaded. No, it's sophisticated now. They're invading us with propaganda and immigration, straight up. It's an invasion. And it's not a peaceful invasion, but it's not a violent war invasion. It's somewhere in between. It's military, most definitely, but it's not a violent military action. It's a psyop military action. Yeah, they played that card connecting the rabbit holes. Yes. All right, Joe P. Goodbye, buddy. Glad you could make it, dude. Yeah, the M word is the new N word. Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like me talking about that shit, so I by necessity have to act all squirrely and act like a bitch and not say that shit so that YouTube will play my videos, rabbit hole. But yeah, they play that card. Yeah, bearded. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, Trump is working on it for long term systemic changes. Yep. Hopefully he succeeds. Yeah, I've been spying on your lawn. I got my drone up there. Goes and checks out your lawn once in a while, Roz. Yeah, well, I've read a lot of the Constitution. I don't know that I've sat down and read every word, but most of it's good shit as far as I'm concerned, Brad. If they would have adhered to it, and stuck to it, I have rights. I'm a free man, and my rights are given to me by God. No government has any say on my rights. The government's job is to protect them. I don't see anything wrong with that. We can call it whatever we want. I agree with the words in it. So, yeah, Wilson was bad in every way, Mike. Yeah, Total scumbag, destroyed our country. Yep. And I hope he's burning in hell. Mike Fleisner, my boy, what's up? Glad to see you here, Mike. Glad you can make it, dude. Yeah, yep, bearded. Yeah, it's just instituting that bank was the same thing as saying yes to digital ID today. Absolutely. Yeah, well, we would be changing the future generations' lives forever, and they're gonna be people in the future looking back and saying, "Yeah, Gen X dropped the damn ball. We were just born into this digital shit." The people that could have stood up back then, back in 2026, they didn't. Yep, good point. Good point, cuz yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no blame. I mean, blame. We can all play the blame game, Roz. But in when you talk about responsibility, and maybe I said the word blame. That's not really what I meant. Responsibility. Responsibility is in degrees and percentages. How much responsibility do we have? All right. We've got little responsibility in the way the world is today, but we do have a small amount. Now, the way the world is going to be in 50 years, I think we'll have quite a big chunk of responsibility then. Uh, we leave our legacy, right? Our legacy. We're going to look back and we're gonna be judged by what we're doing today. It's the legacy that matters. You know what we did today will reverberate into the future, or what we didn't do. More likely, more importantly, who we didn't support. Drones can't fly that high, Ross. That's some tall damn grass, dude. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Oh, all right, hard drive, yeah. Oh, I don't have my watch on. Today's Saturday, right? So yeah, tomorrow. Oh, it's after 6 already. Okay, I got to go. But that's a good time to talk about it. Tomorrow, everybody, I'm going to have a members only live stream at 6 a.m. All right. Now, for those of you who aren't members, I'm not taking anything away from non members. I'm not doing anything, I'm just taking my own personal time, an hour of my own personal time, and I am devoting that to members. So, I've never done a live stream in the morning before, a Sunday morning. It's, I'm just doing that especially for members because I think they deserve it. So, I'm not taking anything away. You don't, you're not losing anything by not being a member. None of that shit. I'm just doing a little extra for members tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So all of you members, you're invited to tomorrow's live stream at 6 a.m. All right. So tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. That's the big live stream. 2 hours. We all get together. We got loads of people on here having great conversations, like the one we had today and the one we had yesterday. Both have been really good conversations. And then at 6 tomorrow is hitting it with Hardwire over there. So I invite you all to go check him out. And if you like his channel, hit the subscribe button. But give him a look. See if you do like his stuff. Uh, oh, thanks, Razio. Oh, Felix. Hey, thanks, Razio. I appreciate it. And Felix does too, hopefully. Yeah. Thanks, though. That's awesome. So now, Felix, tomorrow you're going to be able to join the members only video, the live stream. All right. That's awesome. Thank you, Raziel. Very generous, dude. But yeah, so check out Hitting It with Hardwire. I like to watch his show, and it's pretty cool. He's got some cool stuff to say over there, so it's at least worth checking out. like I said, a lot of people will tell you, go subscribe and all that. Don't do that. That can actually hurt us YouTube um, podcasters if people subscribe and then never watch the channel. So don't subscribe to other channels that I recommend unless you like the content and you're gonna watch. Okay. Now, if you do, then definitely subscribe. But still, I think it's worth going and checking out. You know what I mean? See if you like his channel and if you do subscribe. So uh, Hardwire gives away free technical difficulties. So yeah, don't miss out on the free technical difficulties. Yeah, that's awesome. I got to remember that, Hardwire. That's awesome, dude. But yeah, that's cool as hell. So I will say goodbye to Tripwire, Hardwire, Mangrove, Felix, our newest member, Raziel, Tank Ferret. Who else we got? Brad Davis. Thanks again, Raziel, for the gift membership to Felix. Hopefully he's on our members only live stream tomorrow. Wayne Beatty. Michelle. Oh, you just popped in here, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Glad to see you here. Hopefully we see you tomorrow morning. Let's see. Brad Davis. Did I say Wayne? Yeah, I said Wayne already. Crabman. Bucky. Arnis. Who else we got? I know we had, Bearded. What? Goodbye, Bearded. Mike Fleisner, my boy Mike. Joe P. Oh, Joe P already left us. All right. But still, goodbye, Joe P. My boy Jeff 7. Who else we got? All of you awesome Gen Xers out there. We got to have some more Gen Xers than that. I know we had. Oh, Connecting the Rabbit Holes was here. Goodbye, Connecting. All right. I think I got everybody, or at least most of everybody. JPC was here. All right. Oh, 63 was here, and J-Dog. I forgot about them. Can't forget them. 63. My boy 63, all capper. Love it. Keep it up, 63. Duncan. Yeah, I can't forget Duncan. He's always got some good stuff to say. V Intuitive was here as well. So thank you, V Intuitive, for showing up, and goodbye. Hardwire. Thank you, Hardwire. I appreciate it, dude. Thanks, man. So thank you to everybody. And again, I remind you that we'll have a show tomorrow at members only at 6 a.m. and then our good long show, our 2-hour show at 4 p.m. Please hit the thumbs up button if you would. Give us a like. And now, without further ado, Raziel's been sitting there squirming in his seat, waiting for the spiel. That's his favorite part of the show. So without further ado, here you go, Roz. Here's your spiel, dude. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, it's only $2.99 a month, and I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. But I really appreciate all the support from the members out there. This is the members banner here, and I really appreciate these people. They support the channel directly through memberships, and it helps out a lot, so thank you very much to all the members. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X things and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description too for any of you who are interested. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Things, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is genxthings@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.